Watch this. I be telling you stuff be so simple, man. It's so easy, man. I don't get it. I'll be telling my Moorish brothers and my Moorish sisters, like, we lost due to a lack of knowledge because we refuse to learn. And we don't study and we don't educate ourselves. And then the sad part about it is we're not educated by our own scholars. We let somebody put on the fez and give themselves a title of a scholar or sheik when those titles must be earned. No one can give you a title of a scholar. No one can give you a title of a sheik. No one can give you that. Just like no one can give you a title of a doctor. Because if you a doctor, especially in Moorish science, everyone not sick in the same way. So if you an adept, I hope Moors know what an adept means. Research what an adept really is all about, and what a magi and all that is, and what a scholar is all about. We deal with scholarship. We deal with scholarship, and we are Moorish scholars. I want us to understand that. Everybody is not a scholar because they say it. 1 Thessalonians 5:21. Prove all things and hold fast to what is good. Why are we afraid to be educated, but we want to be dressed up all the time? And see, and that's the same thing when I tell brothers and sisters, Moorish brothers and sisters, that's how I know when they're afraid to be themselves, when they won't wear their fez and they won't wear their turban and they don't exhume who they are, because it's a lack of scholarship. And you must attach yourself to the right vessel. I mean, we got to be okay with that. It's not, that's just like a person say, oh, well, this is my law. It's only one law. It's only one more science. This is a synchronicity. I'll show y'all how all holy books synchronize. Sunday, when I do the message for my brother, for my people, I'm going to show y'all how the Bible and the Quran synchronize. You just missing the language. I break this stuff down every time. So I'm gonna give you a little science real fast. I'm not even gonna be long. I gotta always give you some history, and then I'm gonna break down the part of what we're gonna talk about, the Huevolution of the Moor science. Matter of fact, what you say, Empress? Too many personality. Yep. Man, now when I be breaking out scholarship, Moors don't even know what I be talking about. Like this stuff is old. They like, what's that? I'm like, what you mean, what's this? I'm like, how can you say you got a scholar and you teach civics and you teach history and you don't even have a plethora, you don't even have a library. You just up there talking about a whole bunch of stuff, having a pissing contest. That's not Moorish science. And this science and this masonry come from us. That it don't come from no European. You've been tricked and bamboozled. Haram would be from Tyre is all about you. Solomon didn't build. That Solomon stuff, that ain't nothing. It's you. You Haram from Tyre. Man, don't y'all know, watch this. In masonry, I break this stuff down. That's why I be illuminating a lot of my Moorish brothers that was lost under some Freemasonry when they got some grand poobah and some of your master mason or your higher power, some European. That's not Moorish science. And I asked them in Solomon's temple, on the table covering, what do you think the table covering was? They'd be like, what you mean? When I show you that everything was African or Moorish per se. When I talk about the genealogy of Yahshua the Messiah. Listen, it's not racist. You just been taught wrong. If it was racist, the word wouldn't have been written to describe who you are. That tablecloth that was built in Solomon's temple was a kente cloth. Because we are the royal priesthood. Our paperwork, we're from the tribe of Judah, lineage of David by blood. That's why they want to talk about the genealogy of Yahshua the Messiah and all that Mobitis and all that blood. Because when you look at in the Bible, I don't give a damn what Bible you get. When you look at the Bible and you look at the continent of Akibalan, what do you see? You see the map of Africa. You don't see no map of Europe with the so-called 12 tribes on it. Come on, man. So, let me break something down for y'all real fast. And then we're going to get into the teaching because I got to clear things up, because this is more scholarship. This ain't no, oh, this and that and the other people just talking. You know? Hold on. How's it going? You guys looking for something particular?
No, just looking.
All right, let me know. So watch. So when I talk about words have duality, when people be taking citizen out of context, when the us of the subtitle referred to in the corporate United States of America, assumed by many persons to be a sovereign, independent power. But the constitutional concept and interpretation of a citizen did not derive its authoritative powers from the Declaration of Independence of the original 13 United States of Americas. Right? You got to understand that they discovered that a person was bound by the laws of nature and nature's God, and that these truth to be self-evident. All men are created equal, and their creator endows us with certain unalienable rights. Unalienable rights. The U.S. Constitution was written by the people and for the people. The laws established by freeborn and free men were from the living souls who are sovereigns from the womb of their mothers. U.S. citizens, on the other hand, are belligerents in the field and are subject to its jurisdictions. I want y'all to understand the duality of what I'm saying. When I say you got to be educated on the duality of words and don't take what I'm saying out of context. And that's what most people do. They take it out of context. The only problem with that, the European political power of those days, they dug a shallow grave of fiend sensory for the ex-slaves, and they later fell into it themselves. You know? And it was according to their law. They really would not want to be one. So I'm giving y'all a crash course, man. I'm giving you a crash course. What makes you a complete natural person? Somebody answered, what makes you a complete natural person? I'm going to break this down. What makes you a complete natural person? Now we're going to get to the law. What makes you a complete natural person? First, you got to be educated on the 13th and the 14th and the 15th Amendment. Are any Moors all the way educated on the 13th and the 14th and the 15th Amendment? If you're not, then that's the problem. Right. That's the civic and the law aspect. Do anybody know the true history of the 13th and the 14th and the 15th Amendment? Now watch this. Of course, mind of a man, you've been paying attention to these teachings. That's right. But when I'm gonna break it all the way down. I'm gonna break it all the way down in layman terms. So what's all 5/5? What is it? So what's the 5/5? So so what's the 5/5? I ask more, do you understand fully what the 13th and the 14th and the 15th Amendment is? Do you understand it? Understand it? Do Moors really? I know Moors ain't read it all. They read one line. Do you know what the 13th, the 14th, and the 15th Amendment understand? Have a great one. Do Moors understand it? And do you have access of it? Don't tell me you read no line of it, because the line gonna get you in trouble. That's just like a preacher when they read one line and try to connotate the scriptures. That ain't what I'm talking about. Have you studied the 13th and the 14th and the 15th Amendment in its entirety? Have you studied the rights of the indigenous people and the religious laws? If you haven't studied that in its entirety, then it's a problem. If you haven't studied that in its entirety, then you really don't know. Until you studied the 13th, the 14th, and the 15th Amendment in its entirety, Moors. In its entirety, not just a line. Are we clear? You're going to get this in school. I'm going to break this all the way down for Moors. I'm going to break it all the way down, all the way down, over and over and over. But what is, if you, one of my, where you at? Mine? What's the 5/5 components of a natural person? Do anybody know the complete 5/5? This is what I be asking people, because 3/5, you were the 3/5 of a person. That means that that was the Dred Scott law. You were treated as chattel, then reclassified as what? Person, place, and thing. So do anybody know if somebody asks you, say, okay, well, a complete 5/5, what? That's when I'm talking about defending your degrees. That's what I'm talking about, defending your degrees and defending the Constitution. When they say, no, I'm not 3/5, but it's more. It's more. I said, what? The 5/5 components of a natural person. What are the 5/5? The 5/5, what are they? Everybody that's in some temple, these Moors, these so-called sheiks that appoint themselves, they not teaching this. They not teaching the 13th, the 14th, the 15th Amendment, the law. They not teach you the true 5/5 components of a natural person. Do anybody know the 5/5 of a natural person? If you don't, say no. We can teach. That's why I said, man, I want brothers and Moors to be students. You should. This is going to help you. This is the only way you're going to know the science. You're not going to know the science just from hearing me give Sunday lectures, because that's all I'm going to give to the public, because I'm not going to deprive my people. I'm going to still give my people Sunday lectures, because that's what I am. I'm a divine minister for multiple people, not just for Moors. I'm a divine minister for multiple of people, and I'm not going to deprive my people. But for Moors, the Sunday school lesson, the biblical lessons, and the history, and the civics, and the law, that's for students. That ain't for the general population. So watch this. The true 5/5 components of a natural person. Every Moor should know this. You should know this. Your baby should know this. This is how they defend their faith. This is how they defend the Constitution. Simple stuff. That's why I said I got 5 elementary students. And they're not going to grow. They're not going to repeat what their parents and what the society is teaching them. That's why I said the more science is for the whole family. This ain't no European masonry or no Negro masonry. This more science for the family. So the first one is your spirit, the indestructible God essence in man. Number 2 is your soul, actions of the minds, powers, thinking, reasoning, willing, understanding. Number 3 is your body, flesh, human vehicle made of the earth, often indigenous to the land of birth. Number 4, nationality. Number 4, nationality. The descended birth attachment through an especial nation or tribe. So when you see, what's that beer? Modelo Especial, and you see Negra, you don't even know what you're looking at. Free national name, lineage, identity. You got to remember, Modelo is supposed to be a Spanish beer or whatever. Think about it. Let's start digging. Now, and 5 is your creed, religious path of God consciousness established through forefathers, vine and fig tree. And I keep telling Moore, I know you don't know the law, because the law protects your religious rights. The law protects you as a nation. That's how I know Moors ain't studying nothing. That's why I be laughing like you ain't no sovereign citizen. That's an oxymoron. You're not no sovereign citizen. That's that Negro stuff. That's that European stuff. And everybody operating like that, you going to jail. It's just what it is. Don't make me no difference. That's why I said number 4 and 5, nationality and creed. So your nationality and your divine creed were the 2 main fifths extracted from the African nationals. George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, and many other European Freemason slave owners who signed the Constitution of the United States also rolled in their chattel as 3/5 of a person. The Constitution, Moors, thus became the first legal national deed of ownership of African slaves in a new nation. And this act alone legalized racism and apartheid. Research what apartheid is. When I be talking about linguistic apartheid, medical apartheid, into the interior fabric of the new American culture. And further, it politically certified all Negro, black, and colors as 3/5 of all other persons at a level of a beast, and many without national roots from which to draw strength. And the great God, for his guidance, is no longer a complete man. I mean, I can get deep with this teachings, man. Those who kept you with total commercialization of a corporate USA as portrayed in The Wizard of Oz, right? Portrayed in The Wizard of Oz. You can easily see that the Negro, black, and colored as purely a fictional character, which is a fake citizen, painted into some scheme of an ex post facto government. Our Prophet Noble Drew Ali and myself. We are given the lost found, the shoes necessary to rejoin the human family of nations. 4, our nationality. 5, our divine order. And it's simply impossible for them to leave, or for the Negroes to leave the land of make-believe without their shoes handed down by their ancient forefathers. And now all we have to do is apply it. And we will, and we have to apply the will and climb the 3 steps of the thinking ladder. That's where you think the 3 step of the thinking ladder come from, which is rounded of belief, faith, and fruition. That's in your Moor's Quran, chapter 7, verse 25 to 31. Write that down. And that's in your Moor's Quran. That's how I know Moor's not studying. You're not studying. That's why you got to beware of lying lawyers. Any lawyer worth his salt of the bar exam will lie to you, swear on his Bible, and declare blacks are citizens of the USA because the term of the persons follow the science. Everything I say can be researched. This is the Free Information Act. I'm telling you. The term other persons of the U.S. Constitution refers to slaves, but the 13th Amendment abolished slavery, and or the Dred Scott decision was replaced by what? The 14th Amendment, and or and other amendments specifically eliminated the 3/5 formula. What these fair servants of the courts will not tell their clients is that no constitutional laws have ever been handed down by Congress to teach back the latter 2/5 necessary to make the free slaves into a whole person. A person must be made consciously whole before he can become a citizen, have the rights of a citizen, and be subject to the jurisdictions of a citizen. Everyone, I do mean everyone, Moors, anywhere on the planet Earth, has all 5/5 and are whole except who? The Negro, black, and colored, and the Cetas of India. That's why the 13th Amendment abolished physical slavery but left psychological, mental slavery in full effect. And this violates the second, fifth, the right of mind, the soul of the 5 gifts from the Creator. Speaking of one's right mind, it reminds us how Christianized Negro, blacks, and colored would pray to God, someone outside of yourself, and thank him for allowing you to wake up in the morning. That don't make sense. So with the ratification of the 13th Amendment, the enslavement of human bodies is now legally enforced upon criminals duly convicted as a punishment of crime. Yet the ex-slave still existing within the United States is held powerless and subject to the jurisdictions. And I can go on and on. I can go on and on with this science, man. There was no need for the application of the 14th and the 15th Amendment for the salvation of us, Moors. You got to remember, I explained this earlier in 1865 and 70. Amendments, and the 14th alone is crippling and devastating until it later transformed every U.S. citizen, from ignorant sugar cubes to corporate sheets, known as straw men, within 60 years of ratification. I can go deep with it, but I'm not, because this is going to be for class. The 15th Amendment is the last of the Reconstruction Amendments, resorted from the Great Right of Suffrage from 1870, and this amendment gave guaranteed voting power to the free male Negro slaves. But it was not because America loved her only slave that it gave them the right to vote as all other citizens. That's contrary. But after the assassination of President Lincoln, the South began pouring representative money, influential filibusters, and lobbyists into Washington with the intent to regain dominion in the South and reinstitute slavery. I can go on and on with that, man. How to free all Moors, Negro, blacks, and colors. You gotta be properly educated, introduced to the 13th, the 14th, and the 15th Amendment. You gotta understand this. First and foremost, that I always prove and I show, you can no more make a bond citizen out of Negro blacks than make a Muslim eat swine during a pilgrimage in holy Mecca. Balance this lawful history with the British colonies. You gotta balance this. The history with the United States officially losing its sovereignty in 1871, returning its original corporate status as when it was just what? British colonies. And your summation will be simply this: all crimes committed since 1871 are commercial crimes. Courts are commercial crimes and cannot be a part of any legal proceedings. True constitutional governments do not have nor honor corporate judiciously. A black political hostage is a state of encompassment. It is the state of unnatural existence that envelops the so-called black people, which is seen by the masses. Black is only a word, not a color, which according to science means death, void of light, absence of life, negative. When I talk about the machination of a Maya people, when I talk about political, the practice influence of a government, anything pertaining or relating to the policy or administration of government, state or nation or national, the exercise of the functions vested in those charged with the conduct of a government to control its public policy, the exercising of governmental powers, hostage, any person, family, tribe, national, or people, once free, now captured, usually kidnapped from alien origin, held against his or her will, with their freedom and or life or service to stand as ransom security. The origin of the black political hostage began with the transfer of slave ownership from powerless Southerners to the constitutional fold of government for the restoring United States. And most people, especially Negro, blacks, and color, assume that either the Emancipation Proclamation or the 13th and the 14th Amendment freed the slaves and made them citizens. But you got to understand, Moors, these documents enacted during the 5-year period from 1865 to 1870 did not free Negro, blacks, and color unconditionally, but it transferred them as property from one owner to another, from the self-rebellious Confederate States to throughout every state within the Union, United States. It's just simple, man. Are you telling me you don't want to learn real more science from your brother? You want to go around and argue and just buy stuff from people and not know anything, and your kids don't know anything. That's not science. That's not what this is a part of. I'm not here just to sell you products. I can sell you stuff, but that ain't my mission. I'm a teacher. I'm a Buddha. I'm a divine minister. I'm an adept. I'm a sheik. You know, everything else is a byproduct that comes with me. That's why I tell Moors, beware of ancient Christianity history. There is no such thing as ancient history to Christianity. You got to remember, they try to say that the Egyptians studied Christianity. That cross with the Coptic cross, I have to teach that. That's a whole nother teacher. You must be educated on that. They didn't believe in nothing outside themselves. We'll teach this later in class, but the word ancient does not equate to a period less than 2 millenniums of modern history, especially prior to 300 years after the event of Yeshua, the Christ. And today, there are millions of black Christians merging their under subculture of black history into a biblical past. But you got to understand that black history itself is only about 400 years in existence. And secondly, Moors, blacks are a man-made people because of the great God never made any. And thirdly, Moors, not one black have ever been begotten anywhere in the Bible. Not even the so-called Black Heritage Bible. How I know? Because I got them all. Fourth, there is no truth to the word Christianity or Christians printed in any Bible because Yahshua was not a Christian and he did not make any Christianity or Christians. You know, he didn't. He didn't make any before he left the body. When you research the etymology and the etymon of Christian, it's cretin. Research what a Christian really mean. In the medical field, maim, somebody stupid. Come on, man. At best, Yahshua could make was initiates. When we talk about the silent brotherhood of the East. That's why when you get the Al-Islam Quran, how many times they talk about Jesus, which is Yahshua? About 26. How many times they talk about Muhammad? 4 times. 3 times in Arabic, 1 in English. He made initiates, more commonly known as disciples. What I'm trying to get, like I tell Moors, the Burning Bush Tabernacle Sciences Temple and School is the ministry because we teach. But I have students as well. I'm a divine minister. I'm a Moorish divine minister. I'm an adept. I'm a sheik. I'm a scholar. More commonly known as disciples of his Egyptian adapt ministries. These Christian statues were added in the most recent version of the Bible for 2 outstanding reasons. First, there were no Christians during Yahshua's lifetime. And second, a degree of the Christ was only given to worthy beings who had been perfected. When we talk about 720, the death of the lower self, ain't nobody really dying. Y'all letting these Negroes get y'all caught up in like, look, this is secret side, they in there dying. Man, all garbage. People make versions of the Bible by the hundreds to suit their own personal cultures. That's why in the scripture it says many lords and many gods, all that. And people need to stop lying because no lie is new, Moors. And the reason American-made blacks are striving to give Christianity an ancient history is simply because they are in such desperate want of their own identity until they pattern themselves after the sons of Europe. When the scriptures is being taught. Because it's versions. We have to correct the teachings. When I tell you the scripture is all about you. When I'm teaching, I'm giving you, remember, Noble Drew Ali did a good, but you got to remember, man, I'm in the flesh and we take things higher and I synchronize things and I'm telling you, you were taught wrong. Some of the stuff our prophet said is valid, but when we talk about the historicalness and who we are, I have to stop right there because I've done intensive research and I'm not here to convert nobody. I'm just telling you what it is. Our prophet did a good, but I'm not here for no motive. I'm not no religious person. I'm a truth seeker. I deal with science. So if a person wrote a book about that, the Genesis ain't the beginning of the whole world. It's talking about your family, the genealogy of your immediate family. If we're going to teach. So I hope we just understand some things. When we talk about the name Jesus, yes, Noble Drew Ali taught the Moors about the name Yahshua, its origins, how it applied to Mary's baby, and where we, the Moorish Americans, get the name. Where did we get the name Jesus? From the West. What does the name Yahshua mean? Yahshua means justice. Did the angel give to the child that was called Yahshua a holy name? Yes, but it cannot be used by those who are slaves in sin. Noble Drew Ali just didn't have, listen, Moors, he just didn't have access of certain things. We in a new decade. And when I tell, when Moors be arguing over stuff they ain't ever seen, I say, how can you say you know about these guys and you never seen them, but then when you see man, you want to diss it? Only thing we know is what can be researched. And then if Moors ain't doing the Carmen dating, you're not sure of nothing, because Moors just be reading books and quoting garbage from a Western perspective. And even your own brother will lie to you if you're not willing to do the research yourself. I told you, I deal with truth. I ain't here for no religious perspective or no connotative perspective. I can be corrected from love, but I done the work. I'd have been in the fire. Yahshua was born in Bethlehem through the tribe of Judah. Now watch this. No disrespect, I'm not dissing what none of the prophets said. What I'm doing is clearing it up. He just said that we are been tricked trying to take the Christianity, ancient history, is simply because we are trying to take on European names. And then in the same voice, it says Yahshua was born in Bethlehem through the tribe of Judah in the lineage of David. So in our paperwork, what do it says? What do our paperwork says? We're from the tribe of Judah, lineage of David by blood. I hope y'all listening to what I'm saying. Don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted. We connect ourselves to the fathers and mothers of civilization. I connect those scriptures. They didn't synchronize them, but then they can tell you about the 18 missing years of Yahshua's life and how they was buried. And then in the ayats, they can tell you that your hair is not kinky. It's really like your brother Jesus. You've been played. You see how you can be confused? When Moors read teachings, and I'm like, yeah, I hear that. I hear what they saying when they say this is not that. And our prophets telling us about European Christianity, but I ain't talking about European Christianity. I ain't even talking about Christianity, because the Bible is not a Christian book. It says people make versions of the Bible by the hundreds to suit their own personal cultures, times, and climes. Virtually every Christian set in the world has his or her own Bible, blah, blah, blah. People stop lying because no lie is new. The reason American-made blacks are striving to give Christianity an ancient history is simply because they are in such desperate want of their own identity until they pattern themselves after the sons of European. That's false. That's false. And I can stand to be corrected, but that's false. That's false, because I showed y'all genetically over and over. See, this is one thing that I know. I travel. I know Igbo. I know my people in Nigeria. They're the true Jews. The Igbo, genetically. When I start showing y'all books, it testifies. When I start showing y'all the genetic testing, ain't no such thing. Yeah, you got a European Jew because they just believing in the faith. But genetically, the real Jew is the Igbo and the Igbo, proved by genetics. I done did this all over. I showed you the book about Oladio, I forget his name, that shows the lineage. Forgive me for that, man. I forgot the name, but y'all know what I'm saying, and I teach that. So then, right in the same breath, our paperwork says we're from the tribe of Judah, lineage of David by blood. And then we under the Hebrew diet. And then they didn't want to talk about the genealogy of Yahshua the Messiah because his name's all the Asiatics. And then in the Bible, you got the continent on the map, it's the continent of Africa. And then in the same breath, it said Yahshua was born in Bethlehem through the tribe of Judah in the lineage of David. I showed y'all. I can prove that the Asiatic man and woman that the father of civilization proved through the Bible. I do this over and over and over. So that's where it stops with me. You know? Our prophet said somebody got to take this further. That's in your question 25. He was born in the Aramaic language, but was a Hebrew prophet. So you hear this? And then in the same voice, you're trying to say you're trying to take on some identity, but it's telling you this right here. That's why I said you got to be attuned, and your ears must be open to understanding and not diss nothing. In the Hebrew language, his true name is Yahshua. The Greeks who ruled Palestine at that time translated Yahshua into Koine, K-O-I-N-E. Greek pronounced Jesus, Y-E-S-O-U-S, meaning the Lord. Yahweh saves. The Greeks, Jesus, was later translated into Latin by the Romans and then into King's English. By the time Jesus was put into the Latin mix with a Spanish twist, then poured from a goblet of the King's English. What was Yahshua is now J, You know what I'm talking about. Yahshua means justice. In order to understand what the name Yahshua means, justice, it is justice itself, which must be comprehended. You got to understand this. That's why I talk about, I don't deal with no westernized perspective. You got the westernized and the easternized. I know this. I know the science. I know it's a difference. Justice, like death, cherubim and seraphim, is an angel of creator. We got to know this. I'm crash coursing. So I prophets. I'm going to give y'all a couple of the Noble Drew Ali's ayats, and I'm going to jump right into it, and I'm done. This was some of our prophets' ayats in 1972, and he was given to Minister Pleasant Bay by Dr. Rufus German Bay, a divine minister, just like myself. See, everybody want to call themselves some sheiks. You ain't no sheik. You ain't no sheik. A divine minister, personally ordained by Noble Drew Ali. Divine minister. No, I got some stuff from, actually, I got some documents, not that book, but that's a good one too. But I got a book by one of the slaves, and I got some documents. I'm gonna do it again when I was doing my dual master degree at GCU. We end up taking a trip, and we end up meeting the Igbos, and we end up getting documents, man, and it's earth-shattering. They did genetic tests. They know. Everybody know. Just like when the second president of Egypt, Nasser, when he went on the TV and the Times Magazine, and he said he called them all Khazars. And he said the reason why Israel is cursed because God's children left black and came back white. This is old history, man. I mean, our prophet Noble Drew Ali said, I gave you everything that you did. I gave you everything that you did before I came. Now you are responsible for your deeds now. Moors are not held accountable for the oaths taken at and deeds done while they were in a coma and without knowledge of self. Are you following me? But now the holy prophet has come, and me, an angel in the flesh, returning to them their free national name, an old-time religion. Now you are responsible as all other true citizens. Our holy prophet Noble Drew Ali told Moors, I brought you everything it takes to save a nation. Now take it and save yourself. You got to look at the saving powers owned by all other nations of the earth. Free national name, flag, emblem, constitution, land, family heritage. Now look amongst everything he brought us and find yourselves like other nations have. Now take the things that are yours and save yourself. By you being born here doesn't make you a citizen. Negro, blacks, and colored people are names given to slaves during the time of slavery, and those born under the powers of the 14th and the 15th Amendment are not true citizens, but are declared persons, commercial property, under the assumable jurisdiction of the U.S. Congress. The word person, as used in these amendments, do not legally translate into men or women. Moors, be yourself. And to be yourself is to be Moorish American, a true nation of people bearing your one free national name. Moors, study yourself. The Moors must study self to know self, and to know self in order to be yourself. A beggar nation cannot attain its highest degree of spirituality. A prosperous nation must be economically sound. Let me repeat this for all you, I gotta say this, you goofy bum Moors that's out here talking about, I ain't finna do this, you living off food stamps at Section 8, and you living in a YMCA, and you acting like some religious Islam Muslim, talk about you want 3 rides because you lazy. We gotta be educated. We gotta be prosperous, man. How we gonna build a nation with a whole bunch of idiots? A beggar nation cannot attain to its highest degree of spirituality. A prosperous nation must be economically sound. Imitate I. The prophet didn't say be me. He said imitate what? Imitate what? The deeds. Imitate the prophets in the flesh. Imitate the Moorish leaders. Live a life of love so that you will be loved as I, the prophet, is loved. This is the uniting of Asia. That's in your Moorish Quran, chapter 25. And this refers to the Moorish divine and national movement in North America, Moors. Man, I can go on and on and on with these ayats. Moors, you sleep too much. Wake up and see the 7 bridges crossing in the sky. Can you see you are a people? Wake up, Moors, and don't go to sleep anymore. The Moors have been so dumbed down until they have become mentally complacent with a slave psyche. We need to have warehouses because one day the Europeans are going to let you down. And the Moors talk about they're going to get ready. How you going to get ready? You should be ready. We got 40 acres. We've been offering it to Moors and no Moors have it. That's why I said once the thing is done, when it really hit the fan, what if you can't go to the grocery store and get fruit and get water? Where you going to go? You're going to be scrambling around trying to be like more and more and more. I'm be like, no, we got our own village. We got our own stockpile. We got our own warehouse. We got our own garden. We got our own well, water well on our land. The time that have been won't be no more. And if I were you, I would get ready before you are made to do so. And if you are ready, stay ready. And if you are not ready, get ready. Some of you Moors are going to throw away your name just for a morsel of bread. When you let some goofball Moor talk about your last name is a slave name, that's a lie. If you dump your last name, then what you are not obeying your foremothers and your forefathers, and your heritage is attached to your last name. Y'all tripping. You add your bay and your L, which is your suffix, next to your birth name. These are facts, man. The European went to the Moroccan government and asked for permission to come over here to North of Mexico to develop the land. Man, when I show y'all about the White House, and when I show y'all how the Sultan went to Washington and he always came with a certain flower that grew in the Ottoman Empire and now they use it and it grows at the White House. I showed y'all in Thomas Jefferson's Quran. Man, I demonstrate this all the time. But I'm not even going to stick with our prophet's ayahs. It's too many. I'm going to do that in school. So let's see how much time I got to get this. Okay, I got 10 minutes. I got 10 minutes. I'm going to give you a little crash course on this because I'm going to get in. You're going to get all this stuff in school. I said, it's a lot that come with me. I have a real library. Man, I got a whole, almost like I think it's like 30-foot storage, whole library. I got a whole Library of Congress in my, I got everything in there. More people talk about they got Black Law 4th edition. I'm like, so Black Law's got a whole edition. You got to have all of them because it's nothing but a dictionary. But Moors like to read one line. And I say, okay, you reading something that has to, but what are you reading? You can't defend it. If that's the case, you reading Moors reading all these black laws and it's saying that, why you ain't going to defend yourself? Why you ain't going to prove who you are then? Moors reading all these black laws and highlighting it on the internet. Look at this. Look what this means. Look what black mean. Look what citizen mean. If you understand that, well, go defend yourself and go prove who you are. Can't do it. You just on the internet. That ain't nothing but talk. That ain't nothing but talk. And all the Moors that's doing that, all the Moors, I mean, even some of my people, I ain't gonna say their name, they on the internet showing, highlighting all this black law stuff. And then I say, I see their ID, I see their driver's license, and then when they apply for something, they put black. Man, I don't give a damn because you got some black laws. It ain't nothing. You ain't proving who you are. You're supposed to teach them teachings and save yourself and your family. Just like I've done. You're supposed to take these teachers and defend yourself because they can't. They'll get a black law dictionary and get on the internet and highlight a whole bunch. You see this? You see this? I say, yeah, I see it. It's been there before you. Now what? Now what? Nothing. You still a Negro. That's why I said most of them are Negroes in their real life, but they fake Moors on the internet. They ain't Moors in real life because they ain't doing it. They ain't defending who they are. You just talking, and it's gossip, and it's a joke. It's the new merchant. The internet became the new merchant. You ain't teaching nobody nothing because you got black laws. That ain't nothing. Okay, now what? Now what? As a people, still nothing. How's it going?
Hi.
How can we help you guys?
I'm just looking right now.
You looking for something particular?
No, not really. Just looking at colors.
Take your time. So you see, they couldn't defend that. I'm talking. Don't worry about me. Yep. That's what it's for. Your kids, your empress, your family. It's putting you back. It's putting you back to something. It's putting you back to something. This knowledge, like I tell more, the trick, it ain't gonna do nothing for you. This not gonna do nothing for you. We've been conditioned not to study and not to learn by our own people. I keep telling you, the first university was in Spain. In Spain and Timbuktu. What you say, Empress, they don't defend themselves nor uplift all humanity by teaching and sharing. They can't. They can't. I'm telling you, that's a lazy person. They get it. I tell this. I say, oh, you got a black law dictionary. Now go defend yourself. Now go defend yourself. They can't. That's just like a person got a medical dictionary. And I say now let me see you go. Let me see you go perform open heart surgery. You can't. You can't even defend yourself. But you can get black laws and get on the internet and talk about, look at this, look at this, look at this. But then I ask your kids what they are. They're going to say they Negro black. I'm going to ask your wife, your empress, she going to say that she Negro and black because you're not teaching this to your family. I'm telling you. So I don't care if you got a black laws dictionary. Don't give a damn. You ain't doing nothing with it. Only thing you doing is on the internet highlight some stuff and talking. That's preaching. You preaching. That's what you doing. Period. Ain't nothing happening. Every person, every Negro that got that black law dictionary, they highlight stuff. And when I check who they are, I be like, man, they're Negro in real life. They operate as Negroes. They don't wear no fez. They wear baseball hats, Yankee hats, got all the designer stuff. Ain't a part of no movement, but to go home and get you some black laws dictionary. And they Negroes in the daytime. That's whack to me, man. I'm a Moor, 24 hours of the day, 7 days of the week, 365 days of the year. This is me. That's why I probably said Moors be yourself. But Moors lazy because they not who they are in the real world. They afraid, man. Every Moor, and I ain't gonna call one of my homies out. You know who you are. You know who you are. Because when things start bubbling for you, you see who your true people are. This one body in many parts. So if what we're doing bubbles, Moor's supposed to be a part of it. You're supposed to be a divine master in this body. But Negro still got the mentality of a slave. So I want to draw y'all to, and any questions, man, any questions? Because I'm tired of Moors talking about some black laws, some black laws. I say, I got every black law dictionary. What about it? I'll tell you wrote black laws. They wrote it as a joke. Now, let's see, do they defend that in court? And if you do use that in a court of law, why you ain't used it for yourself? Why you always telling somebody else what to do? That's a freaking hypocrite. If I'm telling you, digging that ground right there, it's $1 million in there. How I know? I had to dig in there to get the million. You see what I'm saying? But you got some black law dictionary. You ain't corrected yourself. You talking a whole bunch of garbage. Gone with that, man. That's why I want to draw this topic to the Moor, to the Mason, and the profane. But I must tell y'all the truth. There are many in the Moorish community that do not believe in the early 1900s religious leader, founder of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Our prophet Noble Drew Ali was a Freemason. Y'all got to understand certain stuff. Where do y'all think a lot of this science to come from? Or you think it just dropped out the sky? This is crazy when you talk about initiates. You got to be initiated to something just like I'm initiated in some things. When I say some things are sacred, I ain't under no European masonry. This is what I keep telling people. If this fez is ours and people wear the fez in clandestine, and clandestine is political and religious and clanism, who was the author of this? And we wear our fez all the time, and our fez ain't defiled, and our tassel ain't pinned down, and writing ain't on our fez to let you know that we accepted this religious right. And they're sons of Muslims, and they dress up like you in secrecy, and the secret is all about you. This is our science, and I'm taking ownership of it. All the signs and symbols is ours. Everything, from the compass and the square, everything. I'm taking it all. Yeah, I'm taking it all back. I'm taking it all back, because we are on. I'm taking it all. All of it. I'm taking it all back. Period. I'm taking it all back. And you shouldn't be afraid of it. The next time you see some goofball more talk about some European, you got to smack him in his head. If this is our national headdress, they copying you. I break this sign, even the daughter of American Revolution with the white fez and the gold tassel. That's you, Empress. You are the Eastern Star. And you going to let some goofball, especially a Negro Moor, tell you that you can't wear the fez and the fez represents you. Or that's like telling you can't wear the graduation cap. And that represents knowledge. Get out of here with that garbage. There are Masons that believe Freemasonry began in our community with only Prince Hall or Prince Bay and accuse all other Masonic jurisdictions of being fraudulent. To these misinformed brothers, I say it was not too long ago when European Masons shunned and ostracized Prince Hall as illegitimate. I'm telling you, man, they take your science and tell you ain't legitimate, and then these Negro Masons go get a charter from some European. And I tell you, they got their charter come from you. I'm telling you, man, I'm gonna break all. I got all the ancient manuscript from Masonry, and it was way before some European created it. Way before. So don't let nobody get you with this modern garbage. Research came into Cairo. This is our science, and everyone knows it, but the Negro, black, and color. And I'm here to take the rightful place back. And I need all y'all, man. Stop following garbage that ain't teaching. They're selling you items. Now you got to see that Prince Hall Masons are perpetuating the same behavior upon the Asiatic Moor Mason. Now it seems that Prince Hall Masons, them Negroes that don't know any science, are perpetuating the same behavior upon the Asiatic Moor Mason community at large. And this is a sad picture indeed, because Freemasonry at its core represented the university and brotherhood of men, no matter the race and creed or religion. Freemasonry of the Aboriginal people of this earth existed long before Prince Hall even manifested, Moors. Masonic unity would serve as a great weapon against the true enemies of Freemasonry. I hope y'all following his teachings. It's my contentions, as well as many other Moors and Moors, that sacred Moor science predates its younger brother, its European and American Freemasonry. And I'm going to attempt to show you this theory by tracing what I've been illuminated to, the most remote antiquity of the sacred Moor science, from the ancient sunken civilization of Muur or Lemura to the Garden of Eden, where Prophet Enoch refined and promulgated the sacred science. And this science was preserved in the pillars associated with so-called Noah's flood. And this more science tradition was passed down from Enoch to Methuselah, to Lamech, to Noah, to Ham, to Cush, to Mizraim. Don't you know Mizraim in the biblical scriptures is Egypt? To Hut, pronounced Put, some say Put, but it's Hut, the P is silent. And Canaan, Cush and Canaan, author what was to become the more rite. When I talk about the ancient rite of Memphis and Mizraim. Hut organized what would later be called the Memphis Rite of Freemasonry and Mizraim. The Hebrew name of Egypt is Mizraim. Initiated what will later be called the Mizraim Rite of Freemasonry. And isn't it interesting, Moors, to note Mizraim is pronounced Musar in Babylonian? So remove the middle S and you have what? More. More. M-U-U-R. And that's widely believed Egypt inherited their science from Atlantis, Mu, Lemuria, even though the geographical origin of Memphis, right, is thought to be Libya. The nexus of the two rites, Memphis and Mizraim, is ancient Egypt, Moors. And these rites have become like fraternal twins. Of course, all three rites are interrelated and interconnected with each other, Moors. The ancient primitive rite of Memphis and Mizraim, and even symbolic craft masonry, has its genesis in sacred Moor science. And the Bible states that progeny of Cush, Mizraim, Hut, and Canaan manifest in many nations upon the earth. And it's historical fact that the nomadic Moors populated Europe, Asia, Africa. When you research the ancient and modern Britons by David McRitchie, India, Americas, Mexico, Pacific, and all other the Caribbean islands. The Moors and the Moors brought a brand of science, culture, and enlightenment not seen before or since. There are many English and Latin spellings of the names that represent Moor. M-U-U-R, M-O-O-R, M-A-U-R-U-S, M-O-R-O, M-O-U-R-O, M-O-O-R-E, M-O-R-E, M-A-U-R-I-C-E when they changed to English, M-O-R-E-A-U, M-O-R-E-T-T-O, M-A-R-D-U-K, M-O-O-R-O-E, M-A-R-R-A-K, M-O-U-I-L-L-I-A-N, M-E-R-I-N-A-D, M-A-R-A-B-O-U-T, M-U-R-I-D, M-O-R-A-B-I-T-E, M-O-R, M-O-R, M-O-N. When I broke down that whole Book of Mormon and I showed you that Book of Mormon is about you, Moors ain't studied nothing, you just did something because somebody told you, and I told you that Joseph Smith, the Book of Mormon comes from the view of the Hebrews. He checked that book out a long time when he wrote the Book of Mormon. Ain't no European came up with nothing ancient, it ain't nothing ancient about it. No disrespect, man. This is scholarship. A person can get mad if they won't. But this, the great God wrote this. This ain't racist. This is what it is. M-O-H-R, M-O-R-R-A-N, M-O-R-E-N, M-A-R-O-O-N. We talk about the, what are her name? The Jamaican Maroons and Queen Nanny of the Jamaican Maroons. M-E-R-A-H, M-U-R-A-B-I-T, M-A-U-R, M-O-R-E-N-O. And many others. But as far as our concept, I'm going to use the term M-U-U-R, M-O-O-R. You know? But I like Muur, M-U-U-R. I like the way of the spelling because it represents the universality of Moor national identity. And most people believe that Moors only came from Northwest Africa. No. But there are Moors in India, Arabia, Americas, Mexico, Ireland, which is the Celtic. When I talk about the Celtic science, when you look at the book and you see a lighter color you person with all Moorish attire and it keep you away from it. Europe, Australia, the Solomon Islands, Mauritanias, breaking the Moorish national identity down by letters. The M represents the what? The matriarchal. I hope y'all write this down. Most Moors believe that God is a woman. I believe that God element is the feminine aspect of one's higher self, the right brain function, or the intuitive side of one's nature as the matriarchal governess. The U stands for the universe of its totality, right? Macrocosm, microcosms. The second U represents under, as in the Pledge of Allegiance, one nation under God. The R stands for Ramu, or R-A-M-U-H, or R-A-M-A-H, or R-A-M-U, R-A-M-E-H, the Egyptian and the Mu god of the sun. And M-U-U-R simply means, in an esoteric sense, the original spiritually intuitive state of man or one man. And according to Mark Amora Pinkham, in his book, The Return of the Serpents of Wisdom, the souls of the Lemurians have continued to reincarnate upon the lands which are remaining vestiles of Mu, or once adjoined the Pan-Pacific continent and the Pacific Islands, China, India, and the west coast of North and South America. And in these areas, they have produced Lemurian cultures based upon the right brain spirituality and art and a dedication to living in harmony with the Mother Earth. And here is the Arizona Indian totem. You see that? Scholarship, man. We ain't got to play with nobody. I hope to God you will not ask me to go to any other country except my own. Chief Barbonicio, at the signing of the Treaty of 1868. Chief Barboncito. Hope y'all seeing this. Wait till school start, man. Fezes, Nimrod, Virginia Memorial. I'm gonna show y'all another picture. They take all your science and make it pageantry. Me and my dad were just talking about when I got a homie that thought he was a Mason. He gave all that crap back. He said, man, they ain't teaching us nothing. He gave it all back. He said, it's all pageantry. I said, he was like, the secret is about me. I'm like, I told you. When you start asking questions, and they was like, whoever, and I'm telling you, when he told them who I was, there was like one of the older men came out like, yes, whoever you studying under, you need to stay under him. And I met his so-called, this master Mason, shut him down. No disrespect. When I say shut down, shut the light out, they know the truth and they bow down. It ain't no disrespect. It's just what it is. How you doing? Looking for something specific?
Do you have any black and gold ties or gold ties?
Gold ties? Like solid gold?
Or like...
1 second.
Like light gold.
Only like golds
More like light gold than
that I might have. Something like this. I don't know if that's something you're looking
Why?
for. Yeah, that's the closest that I have.
Okay. I'll keep looking at the pattern.
Okay.
Like this one, so.
No problem.
Thank you.
Of course. But yep, that is that. So let me see. We got the Sphinx side view. Egyptian goddess, the Hamites, the Babylonians, and then the Olmec sculpture, baby face, Museo, Nacino Morales in Mexico. Watch this. You're welcome, ma'am. Watch this. You see that? Y'all see that? A lot of stuff is locked up in a lot of people private museums. But wait till school start when I start showing y'all all the stuff that I have. Y'all gonna be cracking up. My paternal uncle Luke Myers, Mende, Cherokee, and a Freemason. When I keep telling y'all, you gotta remember, the copy copied you. The science comes from you first. You gotta stop dissing your science and letting people getting you caught up and stuff, because you're not an elite. You're not an elite, and that's what it is. Bust of a female African or Aborigine, the Museum of Puerto Rico. In the Museum of Puerto Rico, man. In the Museum of Puerto Rico. Y'all see this stuff? Queen Mo, symbolically, Arizona Cultural Center. All photos from the personal collection of Noble Timothy Myers L. And now I got them all. I'm telling you, man. This is the Arizona Cultural Center. I'm in Arizona. I've been to the Cultural Center, man. I know. As a scholar, I've been to it plenty of times. I did a whole lecture there. So I'm about to cut it off, and I'm about to get y'all into this history. It's only gonna take a second, and I'm done. So log back on. We're gonna do chapter 1 of the Muur or the Lemur theory, and we're done. Log back on. Islam.